excited today to share with you a walkthrough of the different projects that I have made using the Watch Story Kit as I've been playing along with Tashiana and Crystal and Amanda's Story Kit Crush Challenge. So I'll link to that. It's a hashtag on Instagram, and they're sharing on their channels as well a little bit about the project and the process and the challenge of picking our story kits that we have in our stash from Ali Edwards that we have not used yet, or that we've only used a little bit of, and using those to get more stories told, get inspired, and get the products used. So I've got 7 projects in total for the Watch Story Kit that I'm going to be sharing with you today. Let's get started. Alright, so the first project that I have is inside this little 3x8 album that I am using. It's from Ali Edwards. It's something my husband got me for Christmas, which is so nice. I'm using it to tell the stories of our recent trip to Disney World with my nieces just a couple of weeks ago. And so I've called it 29 Things. So this is something I made for Ali Edwards Stamp Week last week. And it's 29 things and stories from our trip to Disney World with Britt and Bailey, who are my nieces. So this is the title page, and then on the next page, I was really inspired by this card. And above all, watch with glittering eyes the whole world around you, because the greatest secrets are always hidden in the most unlikely places. Those who don't believe in magic will never find it. And I thought that was just super fitting for telling stories about Disney World. It was Leap Day while we were there, and so that was super fun, and we had a bunch of surprises. I surprised my nieces by going on the trip. They didn't even know I was going to go with them, so I surprised them at the airport before we left town. My husband came down for a day with one of our friends and surprised us there, so this card was completely perfect. So everything for this spread started with this card. I picked a photo of my nieces. This is a tag from Ellie's Studio, or die cut from Ellie's Studio, and I used the I've Got My Eye on You stamp from the Watch Story stamp. Let me grab that real quick. Yeah, so I used this stamp here, I've Got My Eye on You. Just seemed cute, and you know, I did lots of watching them and sort of experiencing the trip through their eyes and through their experiences. Then I went to handwrite out my journaling on the Behold card, which was one of the cards included, journaling cards included, and it just wasn't fitting, and it was ugly. And so I decided actually that I'd like to make these things match a little bit more. So underneath this pink star, there's a red printed star on the card. That didn't really go with my photo, so I replaced it with a puffy sticker from Ellie's Studio. That's just a pink star above that. And then I decided to make the card, the Behold card, the background, a light pink, and do my journaling on there digitally, and this is just printed on photo paper. I loved the This View heart card. It was a 4x6 card included in the kit. So I cut out the This View. I love the way it sort of hangs off the page and is big, and I put it up on pop dots so it sticks off, and yeah, so a super simple 3x8 double page using some of the pieces from the Watch Story Kit so far. All right, my next project is a 6x8 double page spread that's going to go in my story album for this year. And this is all about what we're watching and the way we watch TV. So it's sort of one big story that's sort of current. Yeah, it talks about how I used this. Let's talk about process first. So I used this story, or this journaling card that had all the different little TVs on it. And I saw someone online had created this digitally and had these cute little overlays that they printed the little services in. So I really liked that idea. I couldn't figure out how to do the layering right. I'm kind of a Photoshop amateur, not even, novice. And so I couldn't figure out how to get the images layered correctly using clipping masks. So that's okay. I just sized them roughly to be the same size as what would fit in the screen, and then I used my X-Acto knife and cut out each of the screens. And so this is actually 2 pieces stuck back to back. The TV screens have their little images, their screens cut out, and then the page behind it has all the icons for the different channels and services on there. And talked about how these little puffy X's are actually puffy pluses, and they were from a story kit from a long time ago, and I had them still in my stash. So you will see I also use those up on most of the projects that I have in here. I loved all the little plastic icons, or the, yeah, these are acrylic shapes. And so, but I didn't want to do, I tried to do a stitched pocket with them just loose, and you couldn't really tell what they were, and if they got flipped around, that got kind of weird. And I wanted the words in there, watching, streaming, and binging. These are all acetate pieces that were included in the kit. So what I just did is I adhered everything to a piece of transparency, either by stapling or using red line tape, and then that just slides in, so everything stays totally put in the pocket, and so you can still see everything without it getting all stuck at the bottom. It did make a very good shaker pocket, which is what I was kind of going for, but I'm really happy with the way this turned out. On the watching card, I just hand wrote some journaling about how we are running our own media server, and sort of have opted out of many of the services and service providers and things like that. And then on this side, I wanted to talk about shows that we are currently watching or that we've watched recently. So I made this little 4x6 collage, just pulled down images from Google of a lot of our sort of shows that are on repeat all of the time, like Friends, How I Met Your Mother, and Parks and Rec, those, and The Office. Those are just constantly. We just like kind of cycle through those all the time. And then some of the more recent shows that we've watched and enjoyed together for the most part. This Is Us I watch by myself, but that's the only one that is mine only. And then I just took a piece of cardstock, cut it down to 4x6. These are just, I just used a ruler to eyeball some journaling blocks here so that I could use the iWatch chipboard across the top. And so then just did some journaling about each of the shows that are sort of in our current roster. Down here on the side, I wanted a place to add the date, and I couldn't really find a good spot, so I just added a little strip and date stamped March 2020 on there. So that'll go in our story album for this year. And then I have, my next project is a 9x12 single page. And this, I was really inspired by the sticker sheet that had all of these icons and different words related to watching on them. And so I was like, okay, I think that would make a cool border. So I started with this, and then everything else kind of came from that. This is the watch card, the 4x6 card, and I just stamped out We Like To. So it's We Like to Watch, and then I stamped out below here TV shows, movies, videos, and plays are some of the things we like to watch, and just did a little bit of, it's really messy, but just did a little bit of handwritten journaling about each of those types of media that we like to watch. And then this is a photo of us actually in December watching the new Star Wars movies at the movie theater. And I just used one of the TVs from the paper pad to include that on there. Piece of chipboard, more of those puffy pluses, and the date. And that'll also go in our story album for this year. Then I had the idea, I was inspired by Allie. I was watching her, I went back and watched the Story Kit classroom videos to sort of get some inspiration. Her main presentation is all about ideas and how to use the word and what to think about. And one of the ideas she had was using the lens of watching to document a day or document what you see. And so I did that last weekend. You can see this is March 8th. And so I used a lens of watching on Sunday. So this is a picture of our dog and my husband as Sunday morning as we were just sort of getting ready to go out for the day. And there was a fly in the house, and our dog is super into bug hunting. And so that's what she's doing. She's actually like guarding my husband and protecting him from this giant fly that was flying around. And so that's what I started. I'm watching Ruby chase a fly around the house and then climb into your lap to protect you from the gnarly fly. And then all of these, I am watching. And so it was just about me watching the two of them as we moved through our day, different things, interacting with my nephew at breakfast, watching them rest peacefully during some like downtime in the afternoon, going to dinner with their family, going to bed, snuggling with the dog, that kind of stuff. So all sorts of different things that I just listed out. Super easy, super easy. And paired it with a photo. This is a 9x12, and it's just layered up on a piece of white cardstock. This I just printed on photo paper using the digital card watching, and so I just made that bigger. So this is 3x12. Added the 4x6 photography is an art of observation card, and stamped on there this view from the stamp set. Love this view. And the date. And then added the chipboard piece, watch this. So I've never really done a page like this before where like the layers are all sort of stacked up like this, but I really like how it turned out. Sort of a grid approach. This is a project that I made about my youngest niece, Bailey, and Bailey has taught me a lot. Bailey was a preemie. When she was born, she weighed 3 pounds. She just turned 3 in November, and she teaches me new lessons every time I'm with her. Most of them have to do with patience, because she's a 3-year-old. And so I really was inspired by this. I have learned so much from watching you live your life chipboard that was in the kit. And so I built the whole layout sort of around that sentiment or that idea. And so I recolored the observations card in Photoshop and then printed out 5 little sort of stories about how I watch her. I stamped out, I love to watch you, got the acrylic piece in there, the acrylic word in there, so I think I get bonus points for that. Added one of the phrase stickers from the sticker sheet, and then used some of the stamps up here. So the way I did this is like I arranged the stamps on a big stamp block, and then inked them up and stamped them on vellum over and over. So that's sort of how it gets this like pattern. And this is Allie Edwards Columbia ink. That's like a really pretty light blue, light teal color. And then I just stapled the vellum in place as sort of a header, and 2 photos of us taking Bailey to the aquarium for her 3rd birthday, which is also what we did with my first niece. So yeah, so totally a different color scheme from what came out of everything else. Everything else is sort of warm tones, and I went in a totally different direction with that based on my photos for that one. Then I did a 12x12 double page pocket spread for my 2019 Project Life, which I'm still working on. And so yeah, I repeated the red. They didn't really go with my photos, but my photos don't look bad in here once it's all together. So I use, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the journaling cards on this layout alone, which is totally awesome. I did some stamping, so I stamped out observations here. Again, that's from the Watch story stamp. And then added embellishments through the chipboard, and some of those acetate pieces I stapled in place. This is a sticker from the sticker sheet. So yeah, really happy to have gotten this done. Again, I've got some of those puffy plus signs, or X's, I've used them mostly as X's, in here, and so that makes me really happy too, because those are really old. I don't even remember what story stamp they're from, or story kit they're from, but it's been many moons. All right, and so this last project is super fun to me. I really loved this card, the go and love someone exactly as they are, and then watch how quickly they transform into the greatest, truest version of themselves. When one feels seen and appreciated in their own essence, one is instantly empowered. And that's a quote from Wes Angelosi. I love that card, and it just sat on my desk, and I kept like moving it around as I was working on different projects because it didn't quite fit with any of them. And then I thought, okay, well, that's how I feel about my husband and I. That's how I feel about our relationship. It's we've given each other plenty of space for us to grow as individuals. We are celebrating our 10th wedding anniversary this year in August, and so looking forward to that. And that just makes me feel reflective about the last 10 years and really even longer than that. So I have this picture of us that I used for the Pieces of Us self-portrait challenge that Allie did a couple of weeks ago, of our two faces side by side at a show on Valentine's Day. And then I remembered, thank God I remembered this. So my husband and I met in middle school. We did not date in middle school or high school or in college. We did not get together until much later. But we always remained in each other's lives. And so I have this senior yearbook. This is like a scrapbook, right? This is a scrapbook of like me and my friends and all kinds of things from like my senior year of high school. All of our like senior photos are in the back. Yeah, news articles, things from like homecoming and dances. It's just, there's so much stuff in here, and these pictures are all falling out. That's okay. I'll fix them all later. I can't open it unless they're in the right place. So anyway, so I remembered that my husband, when we were friends in high school, made me this crazy picture of us. So this is his face and my face, and this is just like copy paper. This is just computer paper, and they're like photoshopped together, but I don't think he used Photoshop because I don't know that we had access to Photoshop back then, or that he would have had it at home. But they're like, you can, if you see it closely in person, you can see it is together. So this was like a crazy picture of me that he had, and he took a crazy picture of himself and he put it together and he gave it to me in like a letter or something. And so I added it into the scrapbook. So I was like, okay, that's hilarious that I have that, because we were so young and we had no idea that we would become these two people over here. Or that like this sentiment would so perfectly represent who we are as a couple. And so I scanned, actually I took a picture, I tried to scan it in, but the book is bulky and I didn't want to like tear the page out or anything like that. So I took a photo of that page with my phone and then just uploaded it to my computer, made it black and white, because I wanted to make this one black and white so that they would be the same. And reprinted it on photo paper, and you can still see kind of closely, because that paper is really thin and that it like covers up printing that's in that book. You can still see the like, it says something about the field, coming off the field, or I don't know, it was something about sports, and I didn't play sports in high school, so I like covered that page with pictures. But you can see the text there on my forehead, which I think is really funny. So then I added in the dates. So this is February 2020. That was circa 1998. I wanted to date stamp this, and then realized I don't have a date stamp that goes back to 1998. I think probably 2000, maybe 2000 something is probably as far back as I can go for date stamps. And it's probably like 2010 or something ridiculous at this point. So I just hand wrote that as neatly as I could. These are label stickers from Allie, just cut in half. This is a stamp from this tiny little icon set. Let me grab it. That came with, maybe it came with day in the life or week in the life or something. So I just used that little plus sign and alternated it between it being an X and a plus, an X and a plus across the top, and stamped that out just for something up there. I also used the Grow story stamp to do growing up, growing love, growing family, growing life. So I thought that was fun. These are from the Joy or Love story kit that I still had in my stash. They're just acetate hearts, so I put those in because they kind of went with everything. And then I journaled and printed it on vellum and just used the rest of those puffy X's and stapled them in place to like sort of hold the vellum in place. There's like a little bit of vellum adhesive behind some of my journaling, so you can't really tell it. But then I just journaled about sort of like the two teenagers on the left are so unaware of how much love and connection there was between them. They could never have predicted the way our lives would have woven together. blah, blah, blah. We had absolutely no idea that we would turn into these people on the right. Then it talks about when we got married, we decided on the song, our song was Just the Way You Are by Billy Joel, because we came into this from other relationships and just really both came into it individually valuing, like, hey, we're not here for BS. We're here to be ourselves. And if we can't be ourselves, then this is not worth doing. And neither one of us trying to do anything or be a person to impress the other person. And sort of just journaled about how that has translated into us just having such a great relationship, and being really great on our own too. So I love this so much. He hasn't seen this yet. As soon as I'm done recording this video, I'm gonna take it down and share it with him, because I think he'll get a kick out of it. And I'm so happy that I thought of this photo to pair with this photo, and sort of just do this retrospective of our whole lives, really. We've known each other for, I think it's in here, more than 25 years ago we met, and have really been friends or part of each other's lives, friends or more since then. So yeah, that's a little bit of our story, but that's not why we're here today. Why we're here today is to celebrate. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 projects using one story kit. What I have left, let's talk about that before I have to go put all of those. I obviously have my story stamp. That will just go in my stash, in my collection. And then inside the box, or inside the envelope, I have 3 journaling cards left. The watched and with the star review. I think I'm going to use this in my Disney World album, for either one of the shows we watched or watching the girls, a story about that. Totally love watching this. Also going to go in my Disney World album. So that's just a matter of, like, I'm going to stick them in pockets in that album when I'm done recording this, so that I know that I want to use them for that. So I already have plans for these. The one that I don't have a plan for yet is my story, Watch Me Walk Away from Things I No Longer Need in My Life. So this will probably just go in my stash for a time when I'm looking for a story like that to tell. I have a good bit of the televisions left, the paper pad televisions. I would say it's probably, oh, I also used these, I also used a big stack of these in my December Daily album, for 2019, but that album is downstairs, so I'm not gonna go grab it right now. But I did like an accordion flip out with them, talking about movies and shows that we watched around the holiday season. So I still have a good bunch of these, but I will use these in things like Day in the Life, Week in the Life, other random projects, just like the phone paper pad from a couple of years ago. So I use that all the time. So this'll get used. I have 3 pieces of chipboard left, the OMG, Binge Watch, and Just Look Away. I think I'm actually going to put these in my donate pile because I'm not likely to use most of these. None of them sort of spark anything for me. And rather than just putting them in my chipboard collection, I think I'm just going to ditch them. Or, you know, I'm going to donate them or give them away to someone who wants them and you'll use them. But they're going to go in that pile. And then I have 1 sticker left on this sheet, which makes me super proud because I had no idea how I was going to use all those stickers. It says movie night and TV night, and I will probably use that for another project. So I'm just going to put this someplace. I'll probably just cut it. Whoops. I'll probably just cut it out so I don't have to save all this empty space, and put it in a little container on my desk. So that's it. That's what I've got left of the Watch Story Kit, which I'm super pleased with. It feels so good to be using up these kits and these products and getting the stories told. I just feel so inspired by this whole challenge. So a giant thank you to Tashiana and Crystal and Amanda for creating this challenge, ideating on this, and sharing it with the community. I will link to all of them below so that you can see their videos for what they've done with the Watch Story Kit. They're doing a video, they're doing sort of a project a week, and sharing out throughout a few weeks or a month. I'm sort of bulk doing mine and then sharing them out one at a time. at least for now. So if you've enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you would like to see my future crafty videos, please subscribe to my channel. That is always helpful and a good way to ensure that you don't miss a thing over here. So take care, have a great day, bye!